Hey everyone, today we're going to walk through how to use the filter function in Google Sheets and Excel. This is one of the best functions that I found that you're probably not using right now. In fact, it's only been out for a year or two, but I don't think I've seen anyone really using it. And so I started using it a couple weeks ago, found out it's really powerful with how it works, and I wanted to show you guys how to use it. So we'll go ahead and go straight to my screen. I'm going to be doing this in Google Sheets. However, this is applicable to Excel. The function works exactly the same. You don't have to change how you do it for Excel. So I decided to do it in Google Sheets. But again, if you're in Excel, this will work exactly the same. So we're going to try and filter some of the data in this part right here. We're going to do our filters in this area and then in this area. So first off, we'll just type in that function. It's the filter function. Then you put in parentheses. First thing you have to do is you have to select your data. Now I'm going to put in the F4 button to make it so that that data set doesn't move if I do any dragging. That's just a preference thing for me. I don't believe with this function right now, but the way we're doing it, you have to do that. So then we're going to finish that argument. Now, the next part is what are we going to filter? What's the group that we're going to filter by, and then what are we going to filter? So what you do is you select the data set that you want to do the filter to. In this case, it's going to be that date because the filter that we're going to do is going to be for the dates before down here. And then what you want to do is put sort of your condition, sort of like an if function. So in this case, we're going to say less than November 3rd, less than that cell down there. And then you can close and hit enter. And now you can see that actually this data, which had a couple in December, now ends in November. And what's nice, and the reason why I put this in a little bit of a cell down the bottom is because now if I want to change what's being filtered, you can see over here it changed there. Well, let's just go ahead and change that back. Now that's with just one filter on. What's really nice about the filter function is you can actually make multiple filters on the same data. So that's what we're going to do now. So this first condition that we put for our filter, the first filter is for dates before 11/30/2022. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add dates after 9/1/2022. So we're going to eliminate those first couple up there. So going back in here, what's kind of different, and the part that took me a little while to learn, is when you're doing your conditions on what you're filtering, you do it in the same argument. In other words, you don't put a comma in here. And I'll show you how to do that now. So the first thing you want to do is you want to put a parenthesis around your first filter condition here, which is that the dates before 11/30. Now instead of a comma here, you want to put an asterisk. You want to put the little multiplication table on your number pad. And then you want to start your next condition, but you want to start with a parenthesis because you're grouping these. And so here you're going to pick the dates again, and you're going to make this a greater than 9/1/2022. And if I hit enter now, you'll see now everything above there. And again, if I want to change this to be anything greater than 10/1/2022, you can see that right there. Now, one thing I do want to show you, I'm going to run this so the filter goes all the way to 12/31/2022 and put it at 7/1/2022. I'm just doing this to get the whole data set. Notice here now, this reference, the reason that's happening is because I have this little bit of data down here that's in the way. It won't let you come out. And if you're in Excel, instead of this hashtag reference, what you'll get is like a hashtag spill saying, hey, we can put the data in there. So if that happens, you have something in the field. Now you can see actually here it's kind of formatted weird because that stuff was down there, but you can see now it filled out. I'm going to undo those changes. I just wanted to show that because it's very, very important that in the area that you're filtering, you don't have any data in there. Okay, so those are the first two. Now, what we're going to do is add another one, and we'll just show you how to do two more here. So actually, let me go back to where we were. There we go. And again, it's the same way. You stay in the same argument. You just do a parenthesis. And this time we're going to do the account wages. I'm going to go here. And just say equals wages. And now you see we're only doing wages. And what's really nice here is, again, the reason I do it down here is if we want to change this to say internet. Oh, internet doesn't show up because it's not within the right dates. If you put, merchandise income. There you go. This is also, by the way, if you're doing a lot of different filters, and we might do this in another video, one of the nice things to do is to do Dropdowns. And we may do that at some point, but admittedly, that's a little different for if you're in Excel versus if you're in Google Sheets. So I didn't necessarily try and do that for this one. There we go. Do the wages, and now you can see here, you've got just those. And then finally, if you put type deposit in here, this will actually wipe itself out because you don't have any in there. Actually, let's do the merchandise income. There we go. And then the last thing we'll do here is if you want to put the deposit in, again, another asterisk, parenthesis, get the column that you want to get, and then say equal deposit. And you can see now actually the only thing that shows up is that right there. So that's how you keep adding, and you can do as many different filters as you like. I've not found a limit. I've done, I believe, a few more than this. And like I said, it works really well. Now I'm going to take these last two functions out that I got, just so we have a bigger group here. And what I'm going to show you now is, let's say you don't want all of the data to show up, because if you notice here, we have all the same columns in the same order. Let's say you don't want all of your columns. You only want a few of them. And in this case, you want the date, the check, the name, and the amount. So here we're going to get rid of this income and expense one that shows the deposit and check. And we're going to get rid of the one that says account. We'll go ahead and bring this. I'm going to take this, highlight it, Control C, copy, and then come down here, Control V, paste. Now here it's not lined up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the filter function within a filter function. And we're going to walk that right now. So we're going to do it with the formula we already have in here. And actually, anytime I've ever done this in the past, I do my first filter of all the data first and then go back and figure out how to hide the columns. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to do filter, put a parenthesis in. Now I'm going to go all the way to the end. I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to put, and I don't know what the name of this is, but this little, it's not the bracket because the bracket's square, but this little kind of curly parenthesis there. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm actually going to start putting ones and zeros. Ones mean columns I want to show. Zeros mean columns I don't want to show. So kind of going from here, I'd say 1, comma, because I want the date. 0, I don't want an income expense. 1 for check. 1 for name. 1 for name. 0 for account. And 1 for amount. And then I'll close it. Hit enter. And now you can see that I've done that. Let me click back up there so you can see the formula. So if you want to only show certain columns, you don't want everything. And most of the times when I've done this, I don't want everything. I want just a few specific items. This is how you do it. You put a filter, then you put 2 filters in the first filter, then you put the main one that's got all of the different data and the different filter conditions. You put a comma, use those. You have to specifically use those little curly brackets. And you just do ones and zeros for which columns you want. Now, if you have a lot of columns, here's what I've actually done in the past. I'll take the header kind of near where I'm doing the formulas, and what I'll do is above each one, put, 1, 0, 1, 0. And that just makes it easier for me as I'm writing the formula to know, oh yeah, here's which ones I want. And I'll leave that right there one more time so you can see that formula. I found that on the internet at one point, found out that is a really, really powerful tool. The one thing that really is important though, you need to make sure that you have as many ones and zeros as you have columns. If you had like another one, I believe this, it doesn't like it if you had another one that doesn't exist. So don't make sure you have the correct amount. And in fact, if you don't have the correct amount, you'll see there you get an error. That's really, really common. Well, that's it for this function. Just to give you a quick thought process here, where can I use this? One of the ways that I use it in a couple of the templates that I sell on Etsy is I use it for the bank rec feature. Also, I have a wedding planner that I use it to allow you to set tables. So what you can do is it shows a checklist and says, okay, I want table 1, table 2, table 3, and it puts what guests are in each table. So it sort of filters out those. It's also, I mean, like I said, usually if you want to use it, you don't want to use it for such a small data set. You want to use it for something you're using in a ton of different places. But it's a really nice tool. If you found this helpful, please hit the like or hit the subscribe. I'm going to be trying to put more instructional videos like this than necessarily walkthroughs. I'll be doing both. Where if you've seen any of my videos before, they're tutorials of templates I'm selling on Etsy. I am trying to sell and do a few more of these. Hey, here's just a really cool function, and this is how it works. If you use this and you find some really neat uses for this, please put that in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you're using that filter function on. If you find any creative little tweaks to it that I didn't show here that you think everyone will find useful in the community, please put those on as well. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for going through this function. I hope you can use this in the future, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.